Hello everyone, I'm STJ and welcome back to another discussion video I have on my channel. The last time I did this, I was talking about Formula 1 potentially coming to the city of Incheon in Korea. That was potentially going to happen in 2026. It could still happen, but of course we're not even into 2025 yet, so who knows what's going to happen on that front. But enough memory usage. Shut up, I don't care about memory usage. What I was going to say is we now have another rumor coming for a potential race date in Asia. This time it has to deal with Malaysia, which did host Formula One back in 1999 through 2017. As we all know, Malaysia got dropped off the calendar after 2017 due to low attendance and rising costs of Formula One. Even though it was contractually going to host in 2018, given the attendance, it was not going to happen. But this comes from the Straits Times, which is a publication in Singapore, right next to Malaysia. Let me scroll down here. So, Malaysia State Oil Company Petroleum Nasional, or Petronas, some of you might know them as the title sponsor for Mercedes Formula One, is looking to bring back Formula One races to the country in 2026 after a 9-year hiatus, according to 3 sources with knowledge on the matter. The Southeast Asian nation hosted a leg of the F1 World Championship at its Sepang International Circuit, or SIC as it's going to be referred to sometimes, from 1999, but staged its last race in 2017 due to declining ticket sales and rising costs of hosting the event. So, even though it was a fan favorite, not a lot of people showed up to the final editions of the track, or the race, I should say, because one race kind of ruined it for Malaysia, even though it was going so well. Singapore. It started hosting Formula One in 2008, and as you know, Singapore is a huge tourist hotspot in Asia, one of the biggest in the world. But because so many people wanted to go to Singapore, even though I say Sepang is a much better track in terms of racing, that really messed up the attendance because you got all these people from Malaysia now instead going to Singapore. That's going to hurt the attendance at the Sepang International Circuit. Even though the circuit does host MotoGP, that's also kind of a problem. Malaysia seems to be much more interested in MotoGP, even though the interest is actually there for Formula One, generally thanks to the rise of the Netflix show Drive to Survive and the general rise of popularity that Liberty Media helped bring in. It just doesn't seem to be enough for the circuit to host Formula One. But thanks to the help of Petronas, it could actually happen. I'm going to scroll down some more. Petronas' plan to bring back the F1 race was revealed during a company town hall led by the firm's president and chief executive Tengku Muhammad Taufik Tengku Aziz on January 30th. Next paragraph. The sources did not elaborate on the reasons for the potential return. Petronas, the SIC, and the Malaysian Prime Minister's office did not immediately respond to requests for comment. So, who knows for sure if Malaysia's going to get the spot? Maybe Korea. Maybe they'll stick with China as the only Asian race, because as you all know, 2026 is a very important year. I'm going to explain why after I talk about this next article on hand. And this comes from Essentially Sports. Keep in mind, this is written all the way back in 2021, so you'll see how long these rumors about a Malaysian F1 return have been going on. Sepang hosted its first F1 race back in 1999 and held its position on the calendar for 19 years before pulling out in 2017. This is because the Grand Prix recognition dropped significantly during the latter part of the stint, and the organizers found it difficult to garner enough spectators, which led to a drastic financial hit. So, yeah, a lot of these are basically the same talking points, but notice how in the main headline it says here Sepang International Circuit teases the return of Malaysian Grand Prix to Formula One in 2022. Like, as long as I could remember, ever since they left Malaysia, there always seems to be the rumor of, hey, Malaysia's going to return in like 2022 or 24 or 26. I'm not going to believe Malaysia's going to return until I actually see it fully confirmed on the official F1 calendar. But as we know now, um, the calendar is kind of a mess in many ways. Like 24 races, that could be good for fans, but as I said before, it's very stressful for teams because that is so many travel miles they're having to log. The calendar is more expanded out than ever. Like we're going from March till the end of November in some cases. And we're actually seeing a lot of F1 employees leave as a result of this stressful calendar situation. This is an article I forgot to bring up earlier regarding the team burnout situation with so many races on the F1 calendar, but basically, F1 staff could have to bring in a race limit in order to avoid burnout. Um, there was a lot of talk among the team members regarding with how many triple headers we now have on the F1 schedule. It could lead to a lot of like mental issues and all this stuff that could see a lot of employees leaving. But this comes from Planet F1 down below. A maximum number of 25 races per season was agreed by all the teams in the latest Concord agreement, but F1 CEO Stefano Domenicali said in April that having more than 23 races is very unlikely. Weird how they say that considering we now have 24 races, but okay. Robson said missing races for him was difficult because of the information he missed out on garnering, but he understands how staff can be negatively impacted by a 23 race calendar. And just to put in perspective the travel miles, um, this last paragraph right here I'm going to highlight. In the 2021 calendar, there was a point where they still have 2 more doubleheaders and 4 more triple headers awaiting, including a spell of 9 races in 11 weeks across 4 continents. So, yeah, that's a lot. And that's kind of like the problem some team members have. So, unless they like make some sort of combination for Malaysia, like completely replacing China, getting rid of that track, which I think they should. The Chinese Grand Prix has been boring as far as I can remember. There's just never any good racing going on there. Like 2018 was good, but everything else after that was just straight bore fest. Other than that, that could be like a good plan to get Malaysia on the calendar in order to not increase the schedule and not make more team members want to leave. Only problem is there is another source that suggests that Malaysia might not actually be the right to hosting a race in 2026. Even though some claim that there is a bid to host in 2026. So this source coming from Reuters, as we scroll down here, there is something that says, in response to Reuters' report on the plan, Petronas said there have been no discussions on bringing the sport back to the Petronas Sepang International Circuit. The 3 sources who spoke to Reuters did not specifically mention any discussions with F1, but described the 2026 plan as outlined on the company call. So is Petronas trying to bring back F1 or are they not? Just conflict of opinion, I guess. But now that I reached this point in the video, let me talk about why 2026 is going to be like so important when it comes to all these bids floating about. So, as you can see, the Straits Times, Malaysian Formula One Grand Prix in 2026. Then we have Reuters, 2026 again. And mainly because if you saw my last video on F1 in Korea, you would know that the Chinese Grand Prix contract expires in 2025. And of course, China is like the only mainland Asian race on the calendar right now. Like, yeah, you have Japan, but that's across the sea. Not exactly mainland Asia, but with the Chinese Grand Prix contract and all these rumors that Liberty Media don't want to renew because of China's involvement in the Russian-Ukrainian war, they could see China leaving the F1 calendar, and that leaves the floodgate open to all these hosts. We have Korea, Malaysia, and potentially many other rumored races that F1 might have in their disposal. Like, I know there's also a rumor of Tanzania. There was also the rumored Rwandan race, both of which could still happen. Who knows? But in my opinion, they need to bring back Malaysia. The racing and the moments that it's produced have been just too great to miss out on. Like as you know, we famously had Kimi Räikkönen eating an ice cream during a red flag. The track is great in terms of elevation. You have the exciting Multi 21 battle, I think it was 2013, and then Lewis Hamilton's engine blow up in 2016, which was very critical in terms of the 2016 title fight between him and Nico Rosberg. So I say, for the fans, and for myself included, we should bring back Malaysia. And I wouldn't mind at all. I don't think it will bring any negative impact if they have to replace China for it, because in order to not increase the workload on team employees, they should. That's just my honest opinion. I know some might actually like the Chinese Grand Prix circuit, and that's okay, but I don't. I'm just going to leave it at that. But anyways, that'll do it for this little video I have for Malaysia. If you like this kind of content, want to see more of these F1 rumors floating about, like and subscribe. It'll mean a lot to the channel, and I'll see you all in the next one.